Hello everyone, welcome you all in today's my video. In today's video, I will start a new chapter of your history, that is chapter 6, and chapter name is Weavers, Crafts and Industries. Okay, so let's start this video with this chapter. So dear students, what you will learn in this chapter? So you will learn how colonial economic policies led to the ruin of traditional handicrafts and industries, and about the process of deindustrialization. And in the end of this chapter, you will learn about the growth of modern industries in India. Okay, so let's start this video with this chapter. So in this chapter we will read how the British were responsible for the decline of traditional Indian crafts and industries, particularly the cotton textile industry. This was accompanied by a systematic drain of wealth from India to Britain during the British rule. Okay. So first introduction of this chapter. So the art and the craft industry in India were among the major one which get affected us. It was among the major item which was traded to Europe and had a large market there. So with the rapid industrialization, these industries in India and the people which and people working here was in a great depression, and this caused a huge loss of the trade and even to the lives of the workers. But this also brought a sense of nationalism in the mind of people, and the value of local textiles and goods increased. After the First World War, there was a turning point that came to the textile, iron and steel industries of India. So the crafts and industries of India during British rule focused on two industries, textiles and iron and steels. The industrialization of Britain had a close connection with the conquest and colonization of India. In 18th century, India was a leading nation in terms of crafts and trade, but with industrial revolution, Britain came to know as workshop of the world. With the growth of industrial production, British industrialists began to see India as a vast market for their industrial products. And over the year, manufactured goods from Britain began flooding India. So I hope you all understood introduction part of this chapter. Next, I will tell about economic drain of India. Okay, so economic drain theory. What is economic drain theory? So in the economic drain theory, in the mercantilist concept, and economic drain takes place if gold and silver flow out of the country as a consequence of an adverse balance of trade. Okay, so after the Battle of Plassey, British got the right to collect the taxes from Bengal and it utilized earning from taxes to buy Indian goods. Thus began the process of drain of India's wealth. India witnessed a drain of wealth in the 18th and 19th centuries through trade with East India Company and the various charges imposed by it on the Indians during the 19th century. To two simultaneous process took place: industrialization of Britain and deindustrialization of India. Okay, so what is deindustrialization? So deindustrialization is the process of dispersion of traditional Indian crafts and decline in national income has been referred to as industrialization of Indian economy. I hope you all understood what is deindustrialization. So about this topic, economic drains of India. Dadabhai Nauroji. Dadabhai Nauroji was the first to acknowledge that the poverty of the Indians was due to British explanation of India's resources and the drain of India's wealth to Britain. So the economic drain theory was an indication of the nationalist leaders' comprehensive understanding of the colonial situation. Okay, through the drain theory. So drain theory is in the mercantilist concept, an economic drain takes place if gold and silver flow out of the country as a consequence of an adverse balance of trade. This is economic drain theory. So through the drain theory, the exploitative character of British rule was exposed. There were several other ways by which India which dispute of its wealth and economic resources, such as first imposition of home charges, second interest and profit on private foreign capital, third foreign banking, insurance, and shipping charges like money paid to shipping companies, banks, insurance companies, and other service providers. Okay, and foreign companies not only drained Indian resources, also stunted the growth of Indian enterprises. So I hope you all understood economic drain of India. So I again repeat, after the Battle of Plassey, British got the right to collect the taxes from Bengal and it utilized earning from taxes to buy Indian goods. Thus began the process of drain of India's wealth. India witnessed a drain of wealth in the 18th and 19th centuries through trade with East India Company and the various charges imposed by it on the Indians. Okay, so during the 19th century, two simultaneous process took place. First is industrialization of Britain and deindustrialization of India. This topic is this topic we will read in my next video. Okay, so thank you for watching. For your better understand today's topic, I will show you an animation video. So please keep watching. Okay.
19th century. As discussed above, the Indian crafts and industries, particularly the textile industry, continued to flourish up to the 18th century. But all these industries and crafts began to decay with the advent of the British rule due to obvious reasons. The ill effects of Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution in England greatly added to the ruin of different handicrafts in the 19th century. The different things produced by the British factories were not only available in abundance, but they were cheaper as well as better in quality than the Indian handicrafts. Indian cloth could not compete with the mill-made cloth imported from England. Loss of patronage of the Indian rulers. The Indian rulers and nobles were great patrons of the Indian handicrafts. But with the loss of their territories and status, their patronage also became a thing of the past. In the absence of any encouragement, the Indian handicrafts, especially the textile industry, were bound to suffer. Difficulty in procuring raw materials. In order to feed their factories in England, the agents of the English company began buying raw materials from Indian markets in bulk. Indian weavers and craftsmen were starved of cotton and other raw materials. Thus, the paucity of raw materials also added to the woes of the Indian craftsmen and gradually led to the decline of handicrafts. Levying heavy taxes on Indian craftsmen. The British rule imposed discriminatory and unjust restrictions on goods made in India, which ruined her flourishing handicrafts and indigenous textiles. One simple way to achieve this aim was to levy heavy taxes on the Indian craftsmen, which forced them to close their establishments and seek work in factories run by the British capital. Imposing heavy export duties on Indian goods. With a view to discourage export of Indian goods, they were burdened with heavy export duties. In contrast, the British government levied very little import duties on foreign goods coming to India. This discriminatory import and export duties finally led to the ruin of Indian handicrafts, particularly the Indian textile industry. Indifference of the British rulers. The British wanted India to become only a big supplier of raw materials for their industries and to serve as an open market for their finished goods. This policy of the British Company practically ruined the textile industry and handicrafts of India.